What's up? This is All Up in Your Biz, and I'm Yvonne Trackian, and today I'm going to tell you my biggest manifestation story to date, and that is how I manifested twins. So, this story, you know what? This is what I'm going to say. If this was not my story, I would say this girl is a lunatic. She has to be crazy. Like, having babies is science. You can't just manifest twins. She is crazy. But you know what? This is my story, and I believe I manifested twins, and I am going to tell you all about it. And if you're trying to manifest a baby, I want you to listen up because I am going to give you so many tips and tricks to keep your vibe high, because we all know, my God, it is hard to keep your vibe high when you are trying for a baby and you keep failing. I know it's hard. Believe me, I have been there. So I'm just going to take it back a little bit for you so I can set the scene and you understand where I was coming from. So I always had this belief that getting pregnant was never going to be hard for me. I don't know why, but it was just like this intuition. I used to be like, yeah, it's just not going to be hard. And so when we tried for our baby was December 2015, a couple months after I got married. And I got pregnant first time. I just knew it. I knew I was going to get pregnant first time. I was like, I know it. And then I had a miscarriage. Now, miscarriage did not ever even enter into my mind. And you know what? This is another topic that will come up again, and it's about whether you can manifest in the negative. Fundamentally, I believe you can, but there are things that just happen in life. I definitely did not manifest having a miscarriage. It didn't even enter into my head. I think it's just one of those things that happened. So then I got pregnant the second time, and there was a lot of fear. A lot of fear, because when you have one miscarriage, there's fear that you're going to have another one. And I did. I had another one. And then there was lots of fear. A lot of fear. So then I had a third miscarriage. So I went to this talk by Jerry Hussey, who's like a motivational speaker in Ireland. And when I was at the talk, he allowed people to ask questions. And I said, what do you do for your mindset if you're struggling to have a baby? And he said, you have got to let go. And I thought to myself, that's it. That is literally manifestation. If you really believe something is going to happen for you, it's so easy to let it go. Like, think about this. I think about manifestation like booking a vacation. You figure out where you want to go. Like, you're going to the Maldives. You book your tickets. You book the hotel. You know you're going. There is no doubt in your mind that you are going. You are not checking up every single day to see if you still booked your ticket or you booked that hotel. But what happens is, as you get closer and closer to your vacation time, you start thinking, I wonder, does the hotel have a gym? I wonder, does the hotel have a spa? And you kind of go back to it. But you know, there is no doubt in your mind. Like, when you go into the coffee shop and you order your flat white, you're not standing there thinking, I wonder, do they know to make my flat white? Like, there is zero fear or doubt in your mind. You know you're getting the flat white, and this is the way you have to think about manifesting. But how do you do that when it's something that you want so badly, like a baby, and you keep getting knockback after knockback? Maybe every month you're not getting pregnant. Maybe you're having miscarriages. Maybe you're going through IVF treatment and it's just not working, or it's taking a long time. So I'm going to tell you how I manifested the twins. I'm going to take you through the 7 pause penny steps. And I am also going to give you a lot of tips and tricks just to keep your vibe high for when you're just having those down days. And this is all from experience. So before we begin, we've got 20% off our Pause Penny products. So podcast 20 at pausepenny.com, and you can get a manifestation box and a gratitude box. Because like I say all the time, manifestation starts and ends with gratitude. So after I went to that Jerry Hussey talk and he said, you just got to let go, I was like, bingo, I know this. I've manifested everything. And anytime I have just let go, it happens. So I went home and I took out The Secret book. I think I had The Secret was out in Ireland for a long time at this stage, but I just took it out again as kind of like a reminder to myself. I definitely believe I had one of the first copies of The Secret because my uncle brought it over from California to Ireland when I was around 18 and it wasn't available here. But anyway, I took out The Secret book and I remember reading in the book, it is as easy to manifest $1 as it is 1 million. And I was like, yeah, it's so true. It is, because I remember one time I was so broke that I actually had to manifest finding €1 in Tesco, the supermarket. That's another story for another day, but it is actually true. And it happened exactly the same way I visualized. And it made me remember that story. I was like, oh yeah, remember that time I had to manifest €1? Anyway, getting back to my story, and I was like, hold on a second. If I can manifest one baby, well, then I can manifest 2 babies. So I said to myself, okay, I'm going to have twins. They're going to be 2 boys. And at this time, it was around September. And I was in, which is an Irish retail store called Brown Thomas, and they don't even do Halloween. They start with Christmas from September. So they started playing Christmas music, and Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, Baby was playing. And I used to sing All I Want for Christmas Is 2 babies, right? So I said twins, 2 boys, all I want for Christmas is 2 babies. That was fine. That Christmas of 2017, we went to California and I got pregnant. And was it twins? No, it was a boy. So I had a boy. And then I got pregnant again. And was it twins? No, it was actually a girl, and she passed away, which was Polly at 21 weeks. And just remember, and I've said this, and I say this a lot, just because you're manifesting, it does not mean you're not going to be challenged in this life. You are going to be challenged. So she passed away. Her name was Polly. And then I got pregnant again. And was it twins? No, it was a little girl. And then, you know what? I just stopped thinking about twins because I was done. I was like, I am done. I have a boy. I have a girl. I am done. Anyway, my husband said, will we go for a 3rd child? And I was like, all right, okay. Why don't we go for a 3rd? And I got pregnant immediately. And I went for a scan. And I always go for really early scans. And the doctor said, oh, do you see that? It's 2. And I was like laughing to myself. I was like, oh my God. He's like, that's twins. But it was really, really early. So it was like just a little bit less than 6 weeks. And, you know, the probability of having a miscarriage in the first 9 weeks is like 1 in 4. But I've already had so many more. So my probability is quite high. So he said to me, well, there's twins there and there's 2 sacs. It's 2 separate sacs. But he said, you've got an X percentage of chance of bringing 1 home. Anyway, the pregnancy went on. It went on. I was like, I'm not going to find out what I'm having. Everything was looking good. And then I decided at 16 weeks, you know what? And I went for a scan by myself. At 16 weeks, I was going to find out what I was having. And my doctor said, it's twins and it's 2 boys. And I was like, oh, I just knew it. I knew it was going to be 2 boys. And then we were talking about when I would have a C-section, which was going to be January. So I know I said I was going to have twins, 2 boys, and they were going to be all I want for Christmas is 2 babies. But January is pretty close to Christmas. So I was really happy with that. And we penciled me in for a C-section on January 9th. Well, the universe is a funny one, isn't it? Because when is the last day that you can get Christmas presents for a friend or a family member? It's probably Christmas Eve around 2, 3 p.m. and the stores start shutting. Well, my little boys arrived on Christmas Eve. They came early. So all I want for Christmas is 2 babies happened. And you know what? I am still struggling to figure out the science, the real science. People talk all the time, oh, quantum physics, high vibration, which I get and I believe, but there has to be something more. And I just haven't figured it out exactly yet. But I know from experience, when I believe, when I let go, when I remove fear and doubt, when I visualize, it happens. And it happens exactly how it's been visualized. But the believing and the letting go is the hard part. And I recognize that. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take our manifestation deck from the Pause Penny. And I'm going to go through the cards if you want to manifest a baby. And then I'm going to give you the tips to keep your vibe high. So simple. What do you want? Step 1, right on the back. Baby, twins, that's what you write down. So baby, twins. Why do you want it? And you know what? I think this is an easy card for a woman. Sometimes it's just that knowing that you want a baby. It's natural that you want one, but you might want a second one. You might be having secondary infertility, and it could be, you want a second baby for yourself, for your family. You want a sibling for your child. Why do you want it? What do you see? So let me go back to the why, actually. Because when I wrote down twins, my why card initially, I said, I want twins because I know I definitely don't want my child to be an only child. And if I have 2, I am done. If I have 2 babies, that's it. I'm done. And I can end this chapter because it was a hard chapter for me. But it didn't happen immediately. And do you know why? Because my why was shredded with fear and doubt. I need to have 2 because then I'm done. And if I have 2, I can let go and I can finally be happy. The reality is you need to make sure your why is not surrounded by fear and doubt. And also, I think it's just a really important one. So make sure you're not being like, oh, and I recognize some of us are getting a little bit older and you're like, oh my God, why? Because I'm 40 and my time is almost up. Stop thinking like that. Like, obviously, you need to start taking the necessary steps. We do all have biological clocks here. But say to yourself, it's going to happen. Why? I want a family. I want siblings for my kids. And just think about this. I didn't get them immediately because I was like, why? I want this I want twins. But it's when I let go and I was actually like, yeah, we'll have a third. That's okay. So you've got to let go of the fear and doubt of never having a baby. So that is something that you need to work on. And affirmations are good for that. So what do you see? When I visualized twins, I used to visualize 2 separate sacs. I used to just see a scan with 2 sacs on it. So you might just visualize yourself being pregnant. You might visualize yourself in the hospital with the baby in your arms. You might visualize yourself feeding a baby. So what do you see? So you write what you see on the back of your card. You might visualize yourself walking down the street with the baby in your buggy, or you might visualize traveling with the baby. So write down what you see. And what do you hear? So when I was manifesting the twins, I used to always hear the doctor saying, "Oh, look at that. It's 2. Do you see that?" And that is exactly how it happened. So think about what you hear. Maybe you're hearing the sound of a baby, a baby cooing or crying or feeding, or maybe you hear people saying, "Congratulations, I'm so excited for you." Maybe you hear your doctor, if you're in an IVF clinic, maybe you hear them saying, "It's worked, you're pregnant." Maybe you're hearing your surrogate is pregnant. Maybe you're hearing the adoption has come through or the foster care has come through. Think about what you hear and write that down. And how do you feel? How do you feel? Imagine you're pregnant. Imagine seeing that positive pregnancy test. Imagine having that baby in your arms. Imagine telling your parents or your friends or your partner that you're pregnant or that your surrogate is pregnant or that the adoption has come through. You are excited, relieved, grateful. How do you feel? Write down how you feel and think about that. Think about those feelings. Imagine getting it. Imagine being told that this is coming true. What are those feelings? What action are you going to take? So for me, when I was manifesting twins, of course, I had 3 miscarriages. So it was really important for me to take action and think about what the hell is going wrong here? Why am I having these miscarriages? So I went to a recurrent miscarriage specialist and did all the tests. And I appreciate that this costs money. But it was important to figure out what was wrong. So ultimately, nothing was wrong with me. I had superfertility, which is the opposite of infertility, where you just keep getting pregnant, but not every egg is a good one. So I got myself checked with the doctors. I bought a book. It's called It Starts with the Egg. It talks about health, fitness, diet, all of that. And I'm already into health and fitness, but like I really made it part of my journey that I was going to be even better, with my health and my fitness. And same with my partner, my husband, who's also very into health and fitness. But if you are unhealthy and you're trying for a baby, start to look at cleaning up your diet. Start exercising. Maybe go to a nutritionist who will be able to help you on your journey. And then the other actions you need to take is just to start thinking about what's going to bring you joy. Exercise brings me joy. I know it doesn't for everybody else. So think about the things that just keep you elevated and bring you joy. And start taking those actions. And what are you grateful for? Think about, you may not have what you want, but what are you grateful for? Maybe you already have a child. Some people have no children. You can be grateful for that child. Maybe you're grateful that there's a good healthcare system to help you on your journey to getting pregnant. Maybe you're grateful that there's surrogates out there, or there's other parents that need to give up their kids for adoption so that you have the opportunity to have a baby. You can be grateful for your partner who's super supportive of you during this really difficult time. There's always something to be grateful for. So write down what you are grateful for. And what card is not in the pack? And I know this might be hard for some people to hear, but it's the how card. And when I was manifesting having twins, even though I'd visualize a scan with 2 babies, I did not care how I was going to have a baby. I thought, if it's going to be IVF, fine. Now, none of my pregnancies were IVF. They were all natural, but I didn't care how. I even thought to myself, if I have to have IVF, I'm going to have IVF. If I have to get a surrogate, I'm going to try and get a surrogate. If there's something wrong with me that I can't carry the baby, the surrogate, again, like I said. Or if I have to adopt, I'm going to adopt. I didn't care how. So don't think about how, just start taking the necessary actions, right? So people ask me this all the time, but Yvonne, what do you do? Like, where you keep getting knocked back, you're sad. It's hard. It's something that you want so badly, and I get it, because believe me, it was definitely one of the hardest times in my life, and it was the hardest manifestation. So these are a couple of things that I did to kind of keep your vibe high. Choose a sign. Choose something that you don't see like every day. I used to say, when I see a dummy, like a soother pacifier on the ground, I would just smile and say, it's coming. Now, it didn't mean it was exactly coming, but when you see that sign, whether it's a rainbow or a dummy on the ground or a specific, I don't know, could be a specific type of dog, like a Dalmatian, but it's something that you need to see sometimes, not all the time. It's not something that you want to see every single day. Like, don't choose like a pug if your neighbor has a pug and you see it every single day. It needs to be something that you see every now and again that switches your mind back to what you're manifesting, and you think, yeah. So every time you see the sign, you say, it's coming. Second thing that I did was I always buy myself cards. I buy myself cards for everything. So I bought myself a card that said twins on it. So if you want a baby, buy a card that says congratulations. Just keep it in your drawer. Pretend that like you've received that card and open it up every now and again. Choose a song. My song was All I Want for Christmas is Two Babies. Is You Baby, but I changed it to Two Babies. So choose a song. When your vibration is low and you're sad, put on that song and just think, it's coming. It's gonna come for me. The best podcast or episode that I've ever heard was Gabrielle Bernstein. She did a talk on Oprah, and it was about wanting a baby. And listen to that. She was forcing it. She was trying for a baby. She was putting her timeline on it. It is an amazing podcast episode. So listen to that. That's another one of my baby tips. Another tip that I have is I get bracelets all the time. So I'd write on my bracelets what I wanted. So these are the cheapy ones. If you see this on video, and I had twins written on one of my bracelets: manifest, believe, and grateful. So get a bracelet. And you might not want people to know what you're manifesting. Like, you might not want people to know that you're trying to manifest a baby, but put something on it like grateful. So then when you wear your bracelet, that you're like, okay, it's coming. And this is super, super key. I know that it's really hard to see a woman who might be pregnant, or another friend of yours that's telling you, oh, I'm pregnant with my second baby or my third baby. And for me, I was like, oh my God, I'm not even on my first child, and these people are having their third. And now, just so you know, I have got 4 kids under 5. I've got way more kids than most of my friends. So, things happen, right? But you have got to cut out the jealousy around what other people have. It has zero relevance to your life if somebody else on the street is pregnant or another one of your friends is pregnant. And the reality is, it wasn't until the loss of the baby, my baby at 21 weeks, that I really started to think this way. Because before that, before I had any children, anytime a friend said they were pregnant, I would cry and cry and cry. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. We need to have these emotions. But what I realized after the loss of Polly was, you don't know anybody's journey. You don't know if that pregnant woman is carrying a baby that might have a disability and is going to go through a tough time post the pregnancy. You don't know if that woman is a surrogate for somebody else and is giving up the baby. You don't know if that woman had to go for rounds and rounds and rounds of IVF treatment, What if this baby is her rainbow baby? You know, that baby that comes after having a loss or a miscarriage. So when you see a pregnant person, you just think, smile and say, me next. Me next. So, my hope for you, if you're listening to this podcast, is that you want a baby. My hope for you is that my story gives you a little bit of hope. And I hope someday that you get that baby that you're manifesting. Thank you.